What's poppin' YouTube? This is the Loverboy Pod. Definitely subscribe if you're feeling the content. I definitely appreciate everybody who comes through. Today we're talking about why men don't approach women again. So let's play these clips and get into it.
Do y'all want to know something that I've realized as of late? Let me tell you what I have noticed. In the past about maybe 6 months, right? I've noticed that when I go out, men don't approach me. And when I mean go out, I mean if I'm at the grocery store, going out for a walk, getting dressed up and going somewhere, it doesn't matter. Men just have not been approaching me whatsoever. And at first, when I noticed it, I was like, okay, this is different because I'm just used to men coming up to me, right? I had to realize, okay, when I'm praying and I'm asking God for protection in all areas of my life, I totally feel like my dating life has his protection over it as well, right? When we know that a lot of these men just want to come in your life and waste your time. And if you're praying for a husband, if you're praying for your spouse, if you're praying for companionship, you have to realize that God is probably making you invisible to like 99% of these men. He doesn't want these men to step to you because he already knows what it is before you even know. So now when I go out, I don't even expect men to come up to me, for real. Like I really just go out and I just be going out for a good time, of course. Yeah, I don't expect it anymore because I totally feel God's covering over my life in that area to really shield me from all the BS, okay? Because it's so much of that out there. So from one woman of God to another, if you're feeling discouraged or you don't know what's going on, that's probably what's going on, sis. God is saving you for your husband and making you invisible to all these men who they don't want nothing from you. They just want to waste your time, okay?
Meant that a man chose to not go after a girl anymore or put in any effort. It seems like guys can just put the bare minimum and not even really put in effort anymore. They don't really care to. Or they're like, why don't girls just go and make the first move and make the effort? When did it become a thing? Now it's like role reversal where they expect girls to be making the first moves, yearning for a guy and chasing him. That is, I feel like, the downfall of why it's so hard to meet someone, because men don't put in effort anymore, don't care to put in effort. And a relationship won't work unless the guy likes the girl just a tiny little bit more. He has to like her just the tiniest bit more for it to work in the long haul. So it would make sense if a guy really wanted to get to know you, that he would go leaps and bounds to get to know you. And when did that shift? Because back in my mom's era, if a guy wanted to take you out on a date, he had to go up to you, he had to get your number, he had to go through lengths to try to talk to you, even if you weren't interested at first. How my parents met? They met at a bar, and my dad asked for my mom to dance, and my mom was like, get out of here. She wanted nothing to do with him. If he had just left and listened to her, they would have never gone married, they would have never had kids. But he was persistent. He wanted to take her out on a date so badly. He was like, what do I have to do to take you out on a date? She was working late their first date, so he went to her work, picked her up, prepped a dinner, took her to a park, just planned the whole thing. He wrote her poetry. He was yearning. How my aunt and my uncle met. My aunt was a dancer on a cruise ship, and he was the photographer. And he was persistent. She overheard him one night saying to his buddy, he was like, I'm gonna marry that girl. He had just met her. And now they're married and they have 2 kids together. I don't hear anything like that now. Now we're praising eye contact. Now we're praising if a guy held a door open to us and smiled. That is what we're praising. It feels so backwards. I just wonder when it shifted, because I feel like that is the whole downfall of why it's so hard to meet someone now, because men just don't care anymore. What happened to men pursuing girls?
So one of the main reasons men don't approach women anymore is because they don't want to be embarrassed. Men don't like being embarrassed. That's not something, you go up, you talk to a woman, and it's just, she makes it way more than what it has to be, right? And then it becomes a big old spectacle. People are looking at you like, hey, what is he doing to that girl? So men just try to avoid the embarrassment. But I want to do a little bit more research to get into the real reasons why, right? So I got some stats here. And let's start off with this, right? First off, if a man goes up to a woman and he tries to get a first date, and let's stay at the first date, hold on. It's about a 3 to 6% chance that man's even gonna grab her attention and get that first date. Okay, so let's say she does give you the first date. Then it's about a 3 to 10% chance that you will get the second date. Okay, so she probably took the first date because it was free food. Okay, so a lot of men got to understand that. A lot of men do get that women go on dates just to get free food. Okay, so Another stat here, 75% chance that a man gets rejected. Like, that is astronomically high. Okay. 75%. And we men, we think logically, and so we definitely are numbers based. So a lot of men already know, what's the chance of me talking to this chick and getting everything I wanted out of it? And, and it's worth putting that work in, right? Not really a good chance there, right? So why is that 75%? Why is that so high, right? And I think I can tell you why with this stat. So they say women say 80% of men are awful, creepy, stupid, perverted, old, short, and poor. Wow. Okay. So now we're seeing that majority of men who aren't even over 6 foot, right? These women don't even see majority of these men. So that's why so many are getting rejected. That's why that 75% number is so high, because there's so many men that these women don't even give attention to, and those are the ones who who will probably go up to them and try to get a date, and then the woman just goes on the first date, either and takes the free food, or just completely rejects them on the initial approach, right? So, I mean, when it really comes down to it, and we really start to think about this, is the juice really worth the squeeze when it comes to these women? And I would say no. So, you look at these numbers. You want us to put in all that work, even though the odds are stacked against us. And then on top of that, half of you women are 304s. You're 304s. Okay, that is absolutely crazy. There's a study done in 2018 by Nectar Sleep that found women have an average of 19 partners before settling down. 19. So the white girl, let me tell you why your it was her uncle and her aunt. Let me tell you why your uncle decided to go after your aunt. Maybe because she didn't have as many bodies as all you women have today, right? So she's actually worth it. Get what I'm saying? You get it? Keep your legs closed. A man is not going to take the chance of getting embarrassed and rejected just so he can pay for some dates for a 304. So when we conclude and we really get down to the nitty gritty, it's just men aren't approaching women because you are not worth it. You're not worth it. You women aren't worth anything really nowadays. Okay? We're paying way more for our women today and getting way less. And the men back in, like the men like her uncle, were paying way less and getting a much better woman. A much better woman. Okay, so at the end of the day, the juice ain't worth the squeeze, man. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. So, and what the black girl was saying about God in the relationship, that's just some shit these women say because they really don't know how to deal with dating. Women suck at dating. They almost suck at everything they do anyway. But women really suck at dating. So they say, I'm just going to leave it up to God and hope that everything just falls into place. That's what women do when they don't have any answers for anything. Okay. So, I mean, hey man, this is what I say. Don't approach women, because at the end of the day, with these stats, the way you can get rejected, and then on top of it, the money you got to put in to even, the resources you got to put in to even satisfy this woman. And then on top of that, she's had like 19 bodies. Yeah, hell no. Nah, it's a no-go. So I hope you women understand now with me explaining this, like, well, why it isn't happening. Okay, y'all not worth it. You're just not worth it. All right. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who took the time to listen to me here. Hopefully you guys took these stats in and really let it sink in. Okay. Thanks for coming to Loverboy Pod. Subscribe if you haven't. Definitely appreciate y'all, man. Until next time.